Whoa!
Hello.
Hey, how you doing, Bill?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing very good. Doing very good.
Good. I made
I'm
a
hot. I
fan.
don't know about the markets, but I'm definitely hot.
I am. I came out of the kitchen. I made a fantastic vegan Alfredo sauce with some linguine for supper, and turned out fantastic. So that's a keeper. Add that
Awesome.
one to my list. Yeah. So yeah, kitchen was a little hot, but we get the airco on now, so we're all good.
Yeah, I haven't turned the air on yet. So my son did something clever. He took a sticky note, wrote 21C on it, and put it on the thermostat. So I'm like, okay,
That's funny.
it is funny.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
markets are interesting. It's
Yep.
kind of deja vu here. I'm feeling February all over again, except for the heat outside.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah, this is kind of still where actually this is below where I jumped in mid-February. I was in when Bitcoin was around 60,000, 61,000 when I grabbed my first little bit to try it out.
yeah,
And so it's gone below that. My highest purchase was I think 71 and everything was in between like, 60, 64, 67. And then I just kind of stopped. I thought, okay, I'm going to stop here and just kind of do some more learning, see what happens. And so when I connected with you, and yeah, the rest is history, I suppose. Got more involved with the altcoins and the altcoin season that we felt was happening, and now we're here.
yes, absolutely. We are here, wherever here is.
Yeah,
Well, the big thing is that the market's lower than when you first entered, so it's a good opportunity.
it is a good opportunity. Yeah,
And that's something to think about. Is that if you had money sitting on the sidelines and you were waiting for that entry point, we
yeah,
might be having that entry point.
yeah. I did
Right.
grab a little bit of some other altcoins, a little bit more SHIB, I have a little more. I haven't decided what to do with it. I'm just going to keep watching. You hear different stories, and you have to decide what you want to believe. But some say it's going to go even lower. Others say this looks like the bottom. It might take a little bit, but it's going to come back up, and we're going to be fine. So it's whatever you feel your gut feeling is on it. That's what you have to go with, and just accept what that decision brings into your life. Oh, you got the crystal ball.
Got the
Oh, then
crystal
we're
ball.
all set then.
Yeah, I got the
We're
crystal
we're
ball.
fine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're good.
there we go.
Now I just need to figure out how to read it.
Yeah.
You know, the we got to be nearing the bottom. It doesn't mean that the whale action is finished.
True.
We saw Bitcoin had rallied back up over 40,000, and Ethereum had rallied back up almost to it was up around $3,000, and then there was a massive Ethereum dump and some more Bitcoin dump. So we've seen the markets turn south on that.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to run where we're sitting at right now in the market. So
Yeah, and the whales, they've done it before successfully, so they're going to do it again. And
yeah,
so when you have that knowledge, it's like you can prepare for that. And if you can get in now, knowing that it's going to go back up, and at some point they're going to come in again and drop everything. If you can, learn about the charting, learn about the Wyckoff and the Elliott wave theory, and do a little bit of self-education on reading candle charts, that will go a long way in knowing when you want to jump out before there's this massive dump when you wake up on a Monday morning.
yeah, it's really, we're definitely going to. I believe we're going to see a continuance of,
Yeah.
and I think if we're heading into an extended super cycle, that this is an important role in it. Given that we've got a market reset that takes us back to the end of January,
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
for those of you that understood what was happening in the market and took your money and put it back into your fiat bank account or put it into stable coin, and you've been doing the dollar cost selling,
Yeah.
so that good for you.
Yeah.
It's good to have that discipline, and so have a better, clear understanding of the market and the way it's going, and the importance of taking some profits along the way.
Mm-hmm.
Right, like
Absolutely.
we're less than net, we're still up. At least I'm still up in my portfolio. Definitely doesn't have the gains, the paper gains that it has had. So it's interesting. There's a couple of projects that I'm going to take the opportunity to buy in because they're at new all-time lows. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Today, go ahead.
It almost reminds me, I can't remember which movie it was. They're on a boat and they need some wind. They came through a really good course of wind. They were going on their way, and then they came to a point where it was total calm. They couldn't do anything. They had to wait.
Yeah.
But then the day came when in came the northerlies or whatever, trade winds, and they were back on again. So it's this time now we can kind of look at things, check in with ourselves, and do some research, do some self-educating, not only in how to read charts and things like that and reading the news and things, but also what's going on with ourselves internally, emotionally. How did we handle it? What did we do about it? Were there triggers? Things like that I think are really important for the next time this happens.
Yeah. Totally. Because there will be a next time.
Yeah. It's just the way of the market.
It's the way the market works, and it's the way the market works when there is large money involved.
Yeah, and there is large money.
Yeah, and that's the whole reason that Wyckoff did the study and published his the phases of the market, because he was observing the market being manipulated.
Yeah.
Right. And he was upset that deep pockets were fleecing, shallow pockets, if you will.
Yeah.
So he decided that he would publish the information that would help people understand what's going on.
Yeah. Absolutely. Everyone should watch The Big Short?
Yes.
Yeah, everyone should watch that a couple times. Yeah, but still there is a lot of hope out there. I've seen a couple of different videos talking about the SHIB coin and Bitcoin, and people are still hugely optimistic, hugely hopeful, and are not giving up. And there are enough out there that this is not going to go away. And so for any beginner that's really concerned, I think that given enough knowledge and understanding, you will be fine. And this, like you said, is a good time to get in as it's nice and low.
Yep, totally. There's projects out there that have good future potential, and they're sitting at an all-time low. So it's if you buy in and you have a previous holding, then what you're doing is you can lower your overall entry price on your portfolio for that particular item, and then you hit profitability a lot faster.
Yeah. So what can you tell us about XRP?
So SEC XRP had their hearing today, and there was a lot of banter back and forth. There was a request from XRP to prevent the SEC from having access to foreign information, but that was denied, and that was done before this trial. So this trial has gone, and the results of this trial are another trial date. Okay. So it continues on. That's what we're seeing. I know a lot of people were hoping for a settlement today and a win on behalf of the XRP team, but it has been tabled to yet another date.
So more waiting. Yeah.
So we're looking at we've got XRP. We're talking our emotional status. We're at the bottom, as far as the market goes. If we take a look at the fear and greed index,
it's gone up.
That is the Bitcoin crypto fear and greed index, it tells you what's going on from a market sentiment, right? So fear tells us that there's a lot of trepidation. There's not a lot of buying. It's a lot more selling going on in the marketplace.
Yeah.
And the greed is when the market becomes oversold and there's a lot of purchases being made. So when we did on Wednesday morning, when we did our live, the fear greed index was at 11.
Yeah.
And today the fear and greed index is at 19.
Right. So there is movement.
It's moved up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it called in the market manipulators to bring the fear back. Because I think what they want a cooling off period.
Yeah.
See, here's something to think about. It's like, in order to recognize a loss for tax purposes, you have to stay out of an asset for 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
So if a whale dumps an asset in order to realize a loss,
yeah,
they need to stay out of that asset for 30 days.
Yeah.
So what happens to the asset? It dances.
Yeah, and bounces around.
Yeah. They want to get, it's okay, 3-5%, no more than 10% difference in price, but they don't want to be looking at high premiums to get back in to realize that loss, because realizing that loss is going to put them at a disadvantage.
Yeah.
And so that's something to think about.
Yeah.
It's definitely deja vu. This is what I saw in February. And now I'm starting to able to understand, okay, so in order to actually realize the loss, you have to stay out of that asset for 30 days. So which means we could see 3 or 4 weeks of dancing on certain assets.
Yeah.
Right. So which means May 18th to June 17th.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 30 days.
Yeah.
So then let the market commence. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. But there was, I read an article or just someone posted something about, well, I missed something. Did you do something?
Yeah, I pulled up the crystal ball and went,
crystal ball.
30 days, 30 days.
30 days. Well, my birthday is June 20th, so any pumping that can happen will be fine for me for a birthday present for June 20th. That would be great.
Excellent.
Yeah, SHIB can go up 300-400% would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, where somebody had sold 3,000 Bitcoin at, I think it was 38,000, and then they bought back in at 3,521 or something like that. So they were definitely not looking to use it as a tax loss. They were using it to gain more coin. So I don't know if you saw that article or that posting at all, but it was something I read. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, it's a wallet that only comes active every 4 years, and they sold at the all-time high 3,000 coins, and then they bought like 3,750 back.
Yeah. Okay.
And so they bought at the bottom of the dip.
Yeah.
So they sold at the all-time high. They bought back on this new all-time low and returned their coins to their wallet.
Yeah.
So they're understanding the Wyckoff
really well.
Yeah.
Super well. So here's a question I have. Every 4 years, the Bitcoin is split or halved. They call it the halving, right?
Yeah.
How would that impact what's happening or what has just happened over the past week? Or does it even affect it at all?
Well, the halving happened a year ago, and in the spring of 2020. And then basically what they're saying is, typically based on historical, they saw that the bull run starts moving into the bull run, and that it typically runs for 18 months. So which means from May of 2020 to October of 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're predicting a super cycle. So which means it could push into January, February.
Right.
And then actions like we saw here, where we've taken the market has been forced back through massive sell-offs.
Yeah.
People could say, by playing the Wyckoff and taking their profits at the top end of the market, and then continuing the sell pressure to bring the price down.
Right.
Which then they're selling higher, which puts them in a position that when they're creating fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and people are, you get the retail investors who are getting fleeced out of their money. They bought at, 58,000 US and they're selling at 46,000.
Yeah.
Right. If they're lucky, or they're selling at, what happens is they hold and they hold and they hold and it hits 35,000. They sell hoping it'll go lower and immediately it flips around. That's the typical situation that we see.
Yeah.
So you're holding and you're going, and then you're realizing, well, all my money's tied up in Bitcoin and I bought it at 58,000. It's 46,000. It's 38,000. I'm going to sell it. And so when it goes down to 32,000, I'm going to buy back in.
Yeah.
And then it never comes down below that.
Yeah.
And so what can happen to people who go through that emotional roller coaster is they can get angry.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Right? And it comes back to one of our favorite sayings: don't date it, don't hate it, just trade it.
Yipper.
And it's really, and I've done this several times. I've sold an asset, most recently Pokedex. I sold at $26, which was, by the charts, looked like a good high point, $26, $27. And then I bought back in at $28.
Yeah.
And then I wrote it up to 36,000, sold some there, and bought back in at 30. And, so it's like looking at these and going, and then, hodled it and it dropped back to like $18.
Yeah.
And it's part of the thing is that I'm looking going, well, I know the market will move and I know the market's going to recover.
Yeah.
So we look at this going, we do the best we can. Right.
Yeah. 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 Patience definitely is your friend here.
Yeah. So it's, not an easy week.
No.
Absolutely not an easy week.
No, it isn't.
100%.
Yeah.
And part of it is that, we did see some recovery. We did see Bitcoin go over 40,000. We saw ETH get close to 3,000. Right. So we saw some action saying that there was recovery, and then we saw some downward market action today.
Yeah. And the one thing I wanted to say, I think I said this last show, is that it's the reason this is happening or has happened isn't because the projects aren't good. It isn't because there's a flaw there. It's because of the manipulation and what people are doing emotionally in the market. So it's not that there's a problem with XRP or there's a problem with Bitcoin or there's an issue with cryptocurrency. That's not it, because it's a solid network. It's a solid idea. And it's the people that have the ability to do what they do to, fleece the smaller guy, right? Like you said.
Yeah.
So when people get fearful of it, it's not because it's not the coin.
No. Perhaps there are some coins out there that don't have utility and that are going to continue to fall in value. Right. So that's kind of testing the market for that.
Yeah.
But I think that, the sentiment is exactly that. It's like if the coin has utility, we're in the early adopter phase of cryptocurrency in the real world, right?
Yeah.
It's now DeFi, decentralized finance, is a reality. You can actually buy a crypto, stake your crypto, enter it into a contract, and earn an annual percentage yield on it, a return on investment.
Yeah.
So, and they're doing that on Binance Smart Chain. They're doing that on Ethereum. They're starting to introduce it on multiple other crypto projects.
Yeah, you truly become your own bank.
Yeah, and this is the thing. And that, so it takes us back to when the internet, pre-internet, that, America Online, right? All of these dial-ups when we were using modems in our computers to
Aye,
connect,
aye, aye.
and it wasn't even an internet yet,
No.
right? And then when the internet came about, it was okay. We started dialing up to the internet, and then when broadband first hit, you know, that we were then able to really see the internet explode.
Yeah.
So that was, the first time I got onto the internet was 1989,
Mm-hmm.
1990, right? And 1990 was when the World Wide Web was first introduced. And so that was interesting. And there was this little website where you could go, and if you created a website, you could go and put your website on there, and you could see, oh, what are the new websites on the internet?
Yeah.
And this is kind of akin to what cryptocurrency is right now,
Mm-hmm.
right? In that we've got all of these dexes, and we've got these exchanges, and we've got, centralized exchange, decentralized exchange, where tokens are being introduced.
Yeah.
And, so one of the big frustrations people have is, where do I find this new token that I heard about?
Mm-hmm.
And, I went to Binance, it's not there. I went to crypto.com, it's not there. I went to, ShakePay, it's not there. I went to, all of these different, and that's part of the thing, is these tokens get listed in different ways, because to get a coin listed onto an exchange can cost like tens of thousands of dollars, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Wow.
Right? Because it's getting the whole thing is that you have to get the exchange to validate, commit, and market your token when it goes onto their exchange.
Yeah.
So they're getting behind you, saying you're a legit project.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of work for them to do to validate, hey, this crypto project's a legitimate project.
Mm-hmm.
So, we look at that and we go, okay. So I think that we're in definitely interest time. It's very early. There was is it Nancy Yellen who made the comment that cryptocurrencies need to be more regulated, and the IRS needs more visibility. So really what that means is that the exchanges are going to be more regulated. And we've already seen that move coming in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
April of this year, when they put a requirement out that any an exchange in Canada needs to be registered.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it needs to become a member of the financial community.
Yeah.
So what these moves are going to move towards is that the next thing will be that these exchanges will be obligated to issue gain and loss statements.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the things that I think that, the writing's on the wall. We're seeing that coming along. Mm-hmm. So we need to be aware that these things are coming, but we are definitely very early in the market overall.
Yeah, it feels like it.
Because you take a look at projects like Cardano that are talking a big thing, and they haven't delivered their smart contracts yet. Ethereum is talking about moving to proof of stake, and that's the reality is the full implementation of ETH 2.0 is going to be a couple of years. I read an article that someone wrote about miners are going to become obsolete, ETH 2.0, and I read the article, and I was actually very interested to see the perspective of the author, and I was very disappointed because it was all just hearsay. It was like, proof of work, Ethereum killing the environment. It's like, very wasteful in energy, and ETH 2.0 is going to make this go away. Yeah, okay. No reference to dates, no reference to milestones, nothing. It was just the whole article was fluff.
Yeah.
Generating, in my opinion, more fear, uncertainty, and doubt.
Yeah.
The way I see it is, and then the Ethereum network is the layer 2 on the Ethernet, and the parachains and the the side chains for Ethereum doing transactions. Like right now, a lot of the Ethereum traffic for certain projects is carried over on the Polygon network, and
Right.
it's those transactions are being transacted at a hundredth of the cost of actually moving them across the Ethereum network. So, and I was reading that in order to, for a decentralized application, a dApp, to use the Polygon Matic layer 2 solution is about 30 minutes of coding, because everything is native to Ethereum, and they're still using the Ethereum virtual machine, and they're still relying on the Ethereum security. So it's just a matter that they're putting in more processes to handle the traffic. And that, ETH 2.0 talks about sharding, and sharding is just that, being able to introduce higher levels of processing. So that's what Matic and Polygon has developed, implemented, and brought to the network. So they're getting massive amount of traction, hence why Polygon Matic lit up in price. In January was 4 cents, 3 cents, and hit $1. It hit $2.50 at its recent peak. So there's projects like that. So it's when we see all these articles coming in, and these fear, uncertainty, and doubt articles, it's looking what's behind the curtain. Is this real, or are we just throwing water on an oil fire?
Yeah,
you're just going to create bigger flames.
Yeah.
So I think we're in for for some dancing in the next 3 to 4 weeks. So look for opportunities. Some things will go up, some things will go down, some things will go on sale. I think we're going to see that, right?
Yeah.
And if Ethereum and Bitcoin pricing stays low, people are going to be looking hard into the altcoins.
Yeah, I agree.
And, what do we say about altcoins?
What do we say about altcoins?
Altcoins are high risk investments.
Oh, right. Yeah. And what are we not? We are not financial advisors.
We're not financial advisors. Absolutely not. We're comedians.
We're just 2 guys.
We try.
We try. We're just 2 guys talking about a subject we care much about, cryptocurrency, and this is for educational and comedic purposes only.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we do our best to be funny.
Yeah, we do.
So the whole thing, cryptocurrency is a speculative market. Don't invest more than you can afford to lose.
Yeah. And like we always say, always look for like-minded, heart-centered people to be around for support, to bounce ideas and questions off of, because you don't want to do this alone. We're both members of the Crypto Canada group and the Cryptocurrency Questions and Answers group. And there are people out there that are genuine, that have good motives. There are a lot of other people out there that don't. And there's always scams going on. There are always people out there trying to take your money and ask you for your seed phrase. And these are things you should never do. And if there's any advice we can give, that would be one of the top ones, is never give out your seed phrase.
Never. Nope. And never enter it into any application except for a wallet, your wallet, that specifically why you're doing it. And if you're confused, look for someone who has a bit more knowledge and experience. That's why being a member of Crypto Canada or being a member of Cryptocurrency Questions, Answers, and News, is there's a forum of people there that you can ask questions for.
Yeah.
Most of the people are nice people and they're well-meaning. Some people are mean, but that's life. So the big thing to remember in the crypto world is not your keys, not your crypto.
Yeah.
And there was a discussion around Wealthsimple. Should I use Wealthsimple?
I saw that.
And my take on it is this: I think Wealthsimple is perfect for people who do not have the technical wherewithal or the ability to really, and they don't want to play with anything except for Bitcoin and Ethereum, and they're just looking for short-term investments.
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Because if they buy in their Wealthsimple account, yes, it's costing you a spread and it's costing you fees. But hey, if you double your money, you double your money,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Yeah.
the fees become irrelevant. And,
That's
and the
true.
key is that, if you're making money, you're making money.
Yeah.
And that you don't, these new people don't have to worry about creating a wallet, writing down the keys,
Yeah.
and potential of them losing the keys. So Wealthsimple is a double-edged sword. It's not your crypto, they're not your keys,
Mm-hmm.
right? However, that's the advantage. It's not your crypto, it's not your keys. You just have a IOU that says this crypto is yours.
Yeah.
So as long as you never plan on spending the crypto or moving that crypto to somewhere else, yes, you can use Wealthsimple. Personally, for me, it doesn't fit my investment
Yeah.
strategy, but it may well for you. And it's like I said, not a financial advisor.
That's right.
And I think the big thing that Bill and I are here about, and we both have experience in, is more about emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
The investing piece is just banter for us. We talk about it, and we're in the trenches. We're playing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Definitely.
the emotional intelligence, we've invested time and effort into learning about our own emotions and helping others navigate their emotions.
Definitely. Yeah, and it's a journey. It's revealed things to me about myself, even in the short 3 months that I've been involved with cryptocurrency, starting in I think the 13th of February, when I got my ShakePay was my first exchange, and I got qualified, that day, and made that first nervous transfer of funds from my bank account to make sure I did it right into the exchange, and then to decide when should I buy my first piece of Bitcoin. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, no, it's good, but there is a feeling of even where things are now, it doesn't look great or whatever. There's a level of satisfaction, and I feel in knowing that I'm in charge of my financial freedom, my financial sovereignty, and I'm making these decisions for myself. There's not a third party, and I choose to do with my money as I seek to, and good or bad, I accept the results of those choices and decisions, and that's exciting for me. And because I wasn't really taught much about finances growing up, there was never a dinner table conversation about investing or money or how to spend it, how to save it. None of that. Couldn't ask questions about finances. So for me, this is just fantastic.
Yeah. I was fortunate to grow up around friends' parents who ran businesses.
Yeah.
And got to observe what they did.
Yeah.
Right. And, so that helped influence some of the choices I made as I grew up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something, is that this is our opportunity. With great freedom comes great responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
And if we look at, let's zoom out. If we go back to May of 2020,
Mm-hmm.
Bitcoin was like 10 grand or less.
Yeah.
So Bitcoin is still up 300%.
Yeah.
Year over year. Right. So the OGs, the old guys,
Yeah.
who've been in crypto for a long time, they know this. Year over year, Bitcoin is increasing in value.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
You're listening
even
to
though,
Michael Saylor, and he'll say that every year.
Yep. And I mean, if you go back and you look at Bitcoin and you average it out annually over the past 12 years, you're going to see multiples of increments of the value of Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So which means that if in 1 year we saw a 300% gain, will we see that in the future? Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
We may see more.
Yeah.
Right? And the thing to understand is that, I think you and I were talking about this, is that even gold as a market is volatile.
Yeah.
The price of gold can go up and down 20, 30, 40, 50%.
Yeah.
We have to step back and remember that commodities can change in price. I mean, look at You want to talk about commodities? Talk to someone who's considering a building project. Where the cost of plywood has gone up 5 times
Oh yeah,
in
no
a year,
kidding.
500% gain. So it's like we have to understand that everything in the market is a supply and demand thing.
Hmm. Yeah.
So maybe we can find a fear and greed lumber index.
Lots of slivers.
I mean, oil. I mean, the price of oil, right? Oil's
Oh,
been crazy.
yeah.
Looking at oil at an all-time low, and yet the price at the pumps don't reflect it.
It doesn't, and I'm fortunate. I've just reduced my commute by 40, 45 minutes, starting a new job 5 minutes away. And so that's a great positive note for me. But yeah, at the pumps, you look at it. And I remember last year when COVID, there was a point before the election, the US elections, where I don't even remember what it was down to. It was like 80, 75 cents a liter. It was like really low.
Yeah.
And, I was thinking, man, it'd be nice if this goes on for a while. But yeah, it's gone way up now.
Oh yeah, but the price of oil hasn't changed that much.
No. Yeah.
Crude, right?
Yeah.
And
That's right.
we see that because Alberta with their tar sands project is still hurting.
Hmm.
Right. So so it's not market manipulation, market impact, and market volatility is not a crypto alone thing.
Yeah.
I mean, let's look at the price of housing in Toronto. The price of housing is on a major boom right now.
Yeah.
Right. People are listing houses at selling at all-time high and putting it up and getting, they're going into bidding wars again.
I know.
Where they're getting 20-30% over asking. And we're talking $1 million houses, $1.5 million houses.
Yeah.
Going for $400,000 or $500,000 over asking. So it's the same. Like crypto gets the same way. When people want Bitcoin, they're just going to pay market price. And so that means it's whatever I'm willing to sell it at is what you'll need to pay to buy.
Yeah.
And that's
how my dad was telling me he was talking to a builder, and he had a house that he sold for I think 300,000. And the guy asked for a day extension just to get his finances together, and the builder said no, wouldn't allow it. He sold the house the next day at an additional 150,000.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, and that's that's the thing is that you always, when you're in a competitive market, you have to go in with your money virtually in hand. And I mean that is the I knew that from a real estate perspective is that when you're going in, you want your finance, you want to know exactly what your number is, and you want pre-approval.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: pre-approval still doesn't guarantee financing. One of my employees had pre-approved, put an offer in to buy the house, and then went to get the financing, and they were refused.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, your husband hasn't been in the country long enough.
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
Yeah, the numbers look good, but
yeah. So I was able to hook them up with a very resourceful. I was able to hook them up with a very resourceful mortgage broker, who was able to go to the same banks that they were turned down from, and then get the mortgage approved. And it shows you that it's connection.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with crypto. It's like, who are your relationships? Who do you have? I mean, yes, we can go. What happens when NDAX, when ShakePay, when Crypto.com, whatever the Binance, when you cannot do a deposit? Does that mean you're sold out of luck and getting money into the exchanges? Or are you willing to go out and use an over-the-counter company? Do you have a relationship there? Or do you go to a crypto BTM bank machine, Bitcoin teller machine, and do you pay the 8 or 10% premium because you're buying at a 50% discount? Right. These are all of the things to consider, and these are the things that I think. So for me, I have more than one way to get money onto exchanges. so that I can trade when I want to.
Yeah. You want to be prepared, especially now, because I had moved money from my Interact into my KuCoin. Everything was approved, but there was the delay. This was, I think, Monday or Tuesday, and it took almost a day and a half before it finally arrived in my wallet on KuCoin. And so you need to kind of, and I was fine. It wasn't like I needed it right then. I just wanted to have some available for when I wanted it. But yeah, that's one thing to pre-plan for, is like always have something in your wallet. If that's how you typically do your purchasing, is you transfer money and you buy, right? You have to have that there, because when the network gets bottlenecked, you're going to be waiting. There's going to be a delay.
Well, everybody wants to get onto the network, so they're all looking like buy the dip, right? But nobody has money, as you said. Nobody's got money on the exchange.
Yeah.
So they're trying to rush and get money put on the exchange.
Yeah. Or they look at their holdings and go, okay, I'm going to sell this one, get it in, and I'm going to go back through and then grab it then. But still, even that's going to take time.
Yeah. It's one of the things that I found sometimes. It's like, let's talk about the dip. You buy an asset on what we thought was a low, and then we find out that that asset continues to drop.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes back to, do you believe in the asset?
Yeah. And
if you believe in the asset, then you can, quote unquote, have diamond hands. You can hold on to it, because if it's Bitcoin that you're buying, we know year over year you're going to be ahead.
Yeah. Well, the other thing you can do too is like, okay, I really want this coin. I know it's low, but it could go lower. I'm just going to grab 50% now. I'll set a buy in a bit lower, and hopefully it hits it. And then if it doesn't, I still have 50% of what I was expecting to purchase. If it does go down and start coming up, you can grab your last 50%, and then you've still got what you want. So there are ways to circumvent, I think, a little bit, missing the dip of the dip of the dip, like the picture of the three people in the church pews with a gun behind, right? It's like, is the dip? No, this is it. No, this is the dip.
Well, it's right? that picture that I posted the other day on Facebook, where the guy's looking below, he's looking at the candles, and he looks below and he sees the candle punch a hole through the floor.
Yeah, it's a good one.
It's Janet Yellen is the U.S. Nasty person.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little bit of humor there. That's the humor. This humor.
Yeah, there's a humor portion of the show.
So Janet Yellen, thanks for that, Dustin, and thanks for dropping by. We appreciate.
Thanks.
Drop your comments, your questions, like, subscribe, and we'll be back again on Saturday. Hopefully, the market is changing.
Mm-hmm.
We know it's going to dance.
Yeah.
It's going to do the hokey pokey. It's going to go up, it's going to go down, and it's going to shake a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
We're hoping that in the general direction, it's all moving up and in the green.
Yeah.
But reality has taught us that it's a blend of colors, that it's red and green, and we accept the colors as they are, because the reality is they're outside of our control.
Yeah, they are. They are.
All right. Well, Thank you, Bill.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff.
And everybody have a good evening. We look forward to talking to you again Saturday, maybe.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night.
Yeah, we just might.
Have a good one. Thanks.
Take care, everybody. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.